question.
Yes.
She said, on what grounds do you intend to approach the federal government
For negotiation.
in line with Section 17 of the Federal High Court Act?
Exactly.
Well, what you heard in court about Section 17 of the Federal High Court Act is simply what the National Assembly enacted. The National Assembly enacted at that Section 17 that reconciliation shall be promoted by the court between parties before the court, criminal or civil. So it so happened, and it came to pass that today that very issue was briefly considered in open court. So it is either for the court in its wisdom to initiate it and direct that parties do go and engage in such conversation, which the court did indirectly by not opposing it and by even suggesting it, or the parties themselves, either party, either the defendant or the prosecution, can initiate it. So that's not very unusual. Recently, we saw a situation where the Attorney General of the Federation took steps under Section 174 of the Constitution, which is very similar to Section 17 of the Federal High Court Act. He took that position to discontinue the prosecution of two very high-profile cases in this country. The first one concerning Wole, Yele, Showore, and the second one concerning Bodijo of Mieteala. So these things are not unusual. So if they do occur as a conversation in open court, it's just as a matter of course. So people might wonder why such situation should not apply to Nnamdi Kanu, and that is what played out in court today.
Well, we have gotten to that same point I will call judicial stalemate. And more important, it has come to the point where national interest is supposed to come into play. I thank the lawyers for holding forth to this particular moment. And I appreciate what the judge said, which is what we have been coming here saying from day one, that we cannot resolve this thing through the judicial angle at this moment. And we have said from day one, both from the moment his house was raided, from the moment he was extradited from Kenya and so on and so forth, that numerous courts in the land has declared those actions null and void. So why are we still here? And federal government has also adopted that same approach in the Metaele issue where they filed discontinuance. They have also done it in Sowore issue where they filed discontinuance. And when we had all these issues in Niger Delta, there was reconciliation and discussions. When we had all these issues, even in Northeast, there was the same issue. North Central, there was the same issue. So how come we have gotten to the Southeast, then nobody is having this conversation? So I'm pleased with the decision of the Federal High Court today. It's already there under Section 17, and it's also there under Section 174 of the 1999 Constitution. The government can discontinue, and grounds for discontinue is national interest, public interest, and I represent the people. Likewise, my brother, other lawmakers from the Southeast, we can't go home most of the times. There's insecurity everywhere. People are being killed. Businesses are affected. Foreign remittance to our place is going down because people are leaving those rural areas. It's a matter of public interest and national interest that government considers this option provided under Section 17 of the Federal High Court Act and Section 174, and the ball is now in the court of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu government. As somebody who wants to renew interest, it's time to renew interest in the Southeast by opening the gate and let Nnamdi Kanu go home. And let's now open the conversation for addressing the challenges that led to this issue.
Yes.
You see, Nnamdi Kanu is an enemy to Nigerian state, and Nigerian state is the enemy of Nnamdi Kanu because Nnamdi Kanu wants to secede from the Nigerian state. There is something that is very important that I want everyone to see. This is a throwback to 2 years ago. There are some things that will happen in your life, You will think that all those things are happening to kill you or to make you bad in your life. You won't even understand that those things are happening for your own good. How many of you remember when Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped from Kenya? If they will tell you that that kidnapping is what will set Nnamdi Kanu free, many people won't believe. So there is a way nature does his things. Now, after Buhari kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu, Buhari made an allegation to Kenyan government that he planned it with the Kenyan government, that it was done legally, that Kenyan government was the one that arrested Kanu and do all sort of things. You know what happened? The following day, Kenya government denied the allegation. That was where federal government shot themselves at the foot. You saw the stories they are telling you, Nnamdi Kanu have to now negotiate with federal government want to negotiate with Nnamdi Kanu. Do you know what is happening? What is happening is that they have not seen anywhere to nail this man. If they continue the case, at the end, they are still going to lose. So that is why you can hear the stories of negotiation now. Throughout last week, you have seen series of people giving Tinubu ultimatum, Nike Clark writing Tinubu, and so on and so forth. So before I go forward to explain some things I want to explain again, I want you to watch, this is 2 years old video, where Kenyan government denied that they did not arrest Nnamdi Kanu.
Of the arrest and extradition to Nigeria of one Nnamdi Kanu, I want to address this allegation by denying that Kenya was involved in the arrest, in the alleged arrest in Kenya and extradition to Nigeria of Mr. Kanu. And I repeat, I want to address this allegation by denying that Kenya was involved in the alleged arrest in Kenya and extradition to Nigeria of Mr. Kanu. To us, therefore, these allegations are fictional, imaginary, and deliberately concocted to fuel antagonistic feelings amongst certain sections of the Nigerian people against the Kenyan people. And indeed, many countries have been accused. Rwanda, Czech Republic, Britain, Ethiopia, and God knows which other countries. I want to challenge anyone with the facts relating to this alleged arrest in Kenya to present these facts. This will include when, how, and who was particularly involved in the alleged arrest. And in any case, I believe we are all Nigerians. Nigeria is a sovereign country. It's your country. Instead of facing the Kenyan High Commission to Nigeria to ask some of these questions, you should face your own government. The government of Nigeria knows how they arrested, maybe in Nigeria, and took Kanu to court. They have the answers, not me. We are also disturbed, dismayed, and astonished by the unfortunate statement on this alleged arrest in Kenya, which was carried in the Nation newspaper today. The government of Kenya is particularly appalled by these spurious, derogatory, and libelous mention of the name of our dear president in this matter, as has been reported in the Nation, dated 2nd July 2021. It's unfortunate. I, as the High Commissioner of the Republic of Kenya in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, wish to categorically emphasize that our two countries, Kenya and Nigeria, have and continue to enjoy cordial diplomatic relations with both federal government of Nigeria and its great accommodating and amiable citizens. We have no intention of interfering with internal affairs of Nigeria, which includes arresting of our own citizens on matters of crime. Kenya is committed to sustain the historical bond of friendship between our two governments and the peoples of our two countries. We wish further to cement our diplomatic relations with a view to ensure mutually beneficial relations between our two countries. In conclusion, on this case of alleged arrest in Kenya of Mr. Kanu, I wish to categorically state here that we are not happy at this ridiculous attempt of dragging the name of Kenya and His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta on this matter of arrest and extradition of the self-acclaimed ipob leader. Thank you for your audience.
You've heard him, right? You hear what this man said. So that was an allegation from the federal government. They wanted to use the opportunity to make sure that everything they did was legal and so on and so forth. And another way, people were saying that why is it the federal government did not follow the right way? They could have even won the case. They could have jailed Nnamdi Kanu. How can they follow the true way? To follow the true way, meaning you have to go to court, and court have to evaluate the asylum process of that man. If that man flee for persecution, if that man flee for, for, let me say, to save his life, for threat of life, the court will not give you that opportunity to repatriate him to face charges. That was what was scaring the federal government, that led them to carry out illegal activities as they have been carrying. And the illegal activities that they carried out now is what is killing them today. Anyway, congratulations in advance. I know that Nnamdi Kanu will be free, but most assuredly, we want peace. We want security in the southeast, in the south, everywhere, because a lot of people have been suffering. Freedom is not something that comes easily, but the whole thing we want is peace, and nothing but the peace.